I want to begin with a quote by Carlos Castaneda. Some of you may be familiar with this author. And he says that in the universe, there is an immeasurable, indescribable force, which shamans call intent. And absolutely everything that exists in the entire cosmos is attached to this intent by a connecting link. And so Wayne Dyer, in his book, The Power of Intention, this is my second copy of it. This one has a little bit of mouse had eaten at it in my storage unit, but it's still a good book. I highly recommend it. So Wayne Dyer, in his book, The Power of Intention, describes the field of intention in the same way. So today I want to share Wayne Dyer's advice on mastering this art of intention. But first, I'd like to begin by having us think about our intentions for a moment. And if you could get a piece of paper or a notebook and a pen. And if you don't have access to one, that's okay too. You can just think about this in your head. I'd like you to think about what your intention is, what your biggest intention is. It could be for your life. It could be for this moment. Maybe it's one or two intentions that you want to think about right now. You can simply write it as my intention is. And I'd like you to keep those in mind as we talk about this topic for a little bit. It's my belief that the power of intention can be harnessed to create every aspect of our lives. Our intentions can make us healthier and happier. It's said that, when we have purpose through our intention, that it drives us. It drives us through this co-creating process of our own lives. And our collective intentions can be incredibly powerful in changing the world. But Wayne Dyer says that there is an enemy of intention that we need to be on the lookout for, and that is our own ego. When we're pulled by ego, we become disconnected and separated from the power of our intent because we're separated by that God source within us. So be on the lookout for these warnings that ego may be functioning instead of the pure source energy within. So do some of these sound familiar? First of all, I am what I have. In other words, my possessions define me. I am what I have. If that's the feeling that we have, then that's a disconnectedness. The next one is I am what I do. In other words, my achievements define my worthiness. The next one is I am what others think of me. Letting others write our report card for us, right? But now today we should be grading our report card, knowing that the God of our understanding is always giving us an A+, right? So are you letting other people give you less than that in your grade about yourself? And finally, I am separate from all that is missing in my life. This one is interesting because it means that maybe everything that's around you in your space is out of step with your intention, or maybe key pieces of what's around you. If your intention is to have beauty and organization around you, but that isn't what's happening in your space, then that's another sign that perhaps ego or fear may be driving you instead of your heartfelt intention. So take a moment to think about maybe which one of these is the most true for you. And I'll read them again. I am what I have. I am what I do. I am what others think about me. And I am separate from all that is missing in my life. So, whichever one that is, Wayne Dyer suggests these 7 ways for eradicating the power of the ego. And they are: stop being offended. Stop being offended. Let go of your need to win, right? To win in life, to win competitively, to win an argument with somebody else. Let go of your need to win. Let go of your need to be right. Kind of falls in the same family. Let go of your need to be superior. These are following a theme, aren't they? Let go of your need to have more. Let go of identifying yourself with your achievements. And this last one was really powerful. It's really interesting. Let go of your reputation. Think about that. How much importance do you have lined up around your reputation, around your curriculum vitae, around your resume, around what people think of you or what you perceive other people to think about you? And how are these things holding you back? So maybe jot down which one of these is the hardest for you to do. When I say stop being offended, does one of these kind of like upset you? Stop your need to be right. Stop your need to be superior. Does one of these kind of emotionally pull a string? Maybe jot that down as an area for exploration. And Wayne Dyer says that to consciously travel now down the road of intent, there is a next thing that we must do, and it is to focus on these 4 activating steps for the power of intention. And he describes them as discipline, wisdom, love, and surrender. So discipline is basically training the body, okay? Because if your body isn't ready for your intention, then it's going to hold you back from the rest. And Michael Beckwith calls this stabilizing the life structures, right? If you don't have community, if you're not feeding yourself the right foods, right? If you're bringing toxic things into your environment, toxic habits, toxic people, these are what Wayne Dyer calls the discipline step of intention. So focus on the body first, and then think about the next step. The next step is wisdom. And this is about training your mind. So once your body is ready, then the mind together with the body can be very, very powerful. And a few ways that this comes to my mind in terms of tools that might help us activate the power of intention. One is something that I used to teach teenage youth groups with hundreds of kids. And this one instructor always said, no matter what you want, it's a matter of time and desire. Like, do you want it? Whatever that intention is, do you want it? And are you willing to spend the time with it? So time plus desire. The next one is an interesting technique called the Pomodoro Technique, which is popular on college campuses nowadays. And it's simply, don't overwhelm yourself with, I've got to do something. If your intention is to finish something that is a big project, just the Pomodoro Technique says, take 25 minutes and say, you're going to sit down with this thing for 25 minutes. You're going to journey on this journey of your intention for 25 minutes, and then you're going to take a break for as long as you want. And then the next time you come back, you're going to say, I'm just going to do this for 25 minutes. If you feel like being there longer, that's fine, but don't overcommit, because some people are, and I speak for myself, you procrastinate because you don't want to go there because you know sometimes something is difficult. So this Pomodoro technique of just spending 25 minutes with it and then letting yourself off the hook to take a break is very powerful. The next one is using your imagination. And Wayne Dyer talks about imagination is so much more powerful than willpower, because willpower is like imagine you're like pushing a big box up a hill, and you've got to try harder and you've got to try harder. So you're working against this resistance, and that resistance is in your mind, right? So the power of imagination can just be used to see yourself without the obstacle, to see yourself flying over the box, flying over the other side of the hill, and having achieved your intention already. And that's a very powerful force, imagination. And Shakti Gawain talks a lot about that in her book. I'm forgetting the title of it now. Creative Visualization, as well as Esther Hicks, using the power of imagination. The next activating step is following your heart. So this makes me think about Steve Kerr in his coaching of the Warriors. There's all the technique, and a lot of these guys come with great technique, but he teaches them to play together with joy and love. And so if you have love for what you do, I've talked about it before, thinking about the Warriors just out on the court, and when they're in the zone, you can see they're really enjoying it. They're not hating it. They're really enjoying it. Well, especially when they're winning, right? So just fill yourself with this love. And when you can't hold that for yourself in your journey, just imagine that you have a silent partner, which is God, that is loving you through it. So next comes surrender. And this is the final activating step of intention. Act as if anything you desire is already here. Okay? Just imagine what it looks like to take a snapshot of what that was that you wrote down earlier. Just right now, just imagine it in your mind. And the power of this snapshot, visualizing yourself having achieved it already, is that you're removing yourself from the how, because you don't always know the how. You don't always know how to get there. And that tends to hold people back. If you keep your eye focused on the what and let the how be handed to you one step at a time, it will be. It will be. It kind of reminds me of, like, visually, it's kind of like a zip line. For those of you who have ever been on a zip line, you just know that this zip line is just going to take you, once you grab a hold of it and trust, and you don't even have to know exactly how the zip line works, right? You don't have to know how the harnesses work and how it's going to get you from point A to B, but it's going to zip you straight to the other side. And that is your intention. So that's a powerful mental tool. A final approach to surrender is to put this sticky on your mirror with this quote that I took from Wayne Dyer's book. And that quote is, "Good morning. This is God. I will be handling all of your problems today. I will not need your help. So have a miraculous day." So I'll repeat that again. Put this sticky somewhere. It's got to be a big sticky or a few stickies. "Good morning. This is God. I will be handling all of your problems today. I will not need your help. So have a miraculous day." And that is this mental attitude of not worrying about the how, just enjoying the ride and knowing that you don't have to do it all, and you don't have to do it alone. Okay. So when we are ready for the next steps, we can get to intimately know our intention itself. I want you to think about, again, what your intention or intentions are. What kind of intentions do you typically have? There's something called the 7 faces of intention that Wayne Dyer says are characteristic of heartfelt intentions. And they are the following. These are the faces of intention. The first is the face of creativity. The next one is the face of kindness, the face of love, the face of beauty, the face of expansion, the face of unlimited abundance, and the face of receptivity. So, thinking about your intention, is your intention creative? Is it kind? Is it kind to yourself, and is it kind to others? Is it loving? Is it loving to yourself, or is it loving to others? Is it beautiful? You have to see it as beautiful, right? You have to see it complete and whole and beautiful. Is it expansive? Is it abundant, backed up by unlimited prosperity, ideas, sources, answers? Is it expansive and abundant? And does it involve receptivity and openness? Okay. And I think that's an important step, because sometimes when you have an intention, it might come to you in a different way or in a different time than you might think. And I'll describe how that happened to me in a moment. But once you notice that your intention is connected to one of these aspects, then you can be pulled by your vision, right? You ever heard the saying, pulled by your vision instead of being pushed by your pain? All right. Don't be pushed by the pain of what you have to do, but be pulled by the vision of what you really want to do, what you really love to do. For me, a lot of my intentions through the years have involved drumming and sound healing, making those a reality. And sometimes you don't know, this is where the receptivity has to come in and the surrender. Sometimes you don't know how they're going to manifest. You don't know when they're going to manifest. You don't know the steps. And I'm looking at Margot as I'm thinking this, because we've been talking about this manifesting and this visioning lately. But 5 or 6 years ago, I had this wonderful, exciting thing happen where Steve Halpern and I gave him a recording in a studio of me playing the drum, several drums, and we had finished a concert together, and it was born out of the idea of something we did in the concert together. And he said, "I'll put that on my album." And I was so excited to it, but I was attached to it in an egoic way. And it just never happened. Things kept on happening in his life. And it just never happened. It never happened. It never happened. It never happened. And finally, I just let go. Recently, I just let go of the expectation that it would ever happen. And I realized, you know something, I'll always have this recording, because he actually went in the studio with other people and made it into a song. It just never made it to an album. Then last week, I get a phone call from Steven. He said, "Aren't you going to answer my email? I sent you an email. I need some information. I need your bio. I need, this, that, and the other, because you're going to be on the album on 2 different tracks." And I realized, wow, there's an intention that was just sitting there, and it needed its own time and its own way to come to life. They say in God's timing. So that's what's going to happen. And right around the same time, I also got a call from Unity asking if I wanted to be on Unity Radio to talk about sound healing and drumming. And, these 2 things just happened like that. So the power of intention will create results. I wasn't thinking about Unity Radio, but I think that was a part of my intention, a part of what I put out into the atmosphere. These surprises will come to you. So that's really wonderful for me. And I think it's proof that if you stick to things and you don't let ego bog you down, you'll have results happen. So finally, let's think about a few more obstacles that might get in the way of our intentions. And I'll run through these fairly quickly. One is your inner speech. And this is corroborated by everything that Esther Hicks teaches through Abraham. And that is your inner speech a match to what you want? Are you telling yourself the same thing that you're telling other people your vision is? Are you telling yourself you're good enough and that you're capable? Are you telling yourself that it's possible? Are you telling your body that it's possible? Next is, are you thinking about the circumstances of your life too much and the way that things have always been? Or are you thinking about possibilities? Next is, are you thinking about what they want for you or what you want for you? Okay. This is something I always, when I was a kid, I always had to check in with my parents that it was something that they wanted for me too, you know? And even with my parents gone now, I think there's something in me that wants to check in with key other people saying, you know, does this sound right? Does this sound right? I don't always do that, but when I do, I know I have to understand when it's healthy and when it's not healthy. And finally, this is one that we may be experiencing. Do you not have enough energy? Do you not have enough energy to achieve what your intention is? And that's where there's a book called The Power of Full Engagement. And I'll give you a shortcut so you don't have to read the book. It says that it's not about managing your time, it's about going with your energy. So if you don't have the energy to do something, right, then don't put yourself in the space of working on your intention then. But if you're having an energetic day, then go for it. Just follow that energy. Some people feel like they need to program in and schedule in time blocks. And that's fine if it works for you, but it's never worked for me. It's always about going with my energy. And if you find that that's not enough and that you don't have enough energy to do those things, then go back to thinking about your body and how are you preparing your body for your spiritual mission? What toxins, what lower vibration things are you putting in your environment or your body, your relationships that are bringing you down? So I'd like to close with us focusing on our intentions again. If you could kind of get your journal or your piece of paper near you. I'm going to close with a couple of questions. The first is, what is your intention for today? The next one is, what is your intention for this year? It may be the same, it may be different. What is your intention for this year? The next one is, what is your intention for 3 years from now? What's a snapshot of you 3 years from now having fulfilled your intention? What are you doing in that snapshot? What environment is it in? What people are with you? What has happened in that snapshot? Maybe it's just an emotion. And I will say these don't have to be grandiose achievements. They can be as simple as enjoying life more fully each day. They can be as simple as realizing the miracles in your life. They can be as simple as loving more. And the final question is, what is your intention for your life? What is your intention for your life? And if you could summarize that in a word, that would be interesting. Not necessary, but interesting. So, whatever it is just give yourself permission to change these intentions whenever you want to. Get a journal and keep it next to your bed and write down your intentions. It's incredibly powerful. Or put them on a mirror, right? And let your vision be creative or kind or abundant or expansive or receptive or beautiful or loving. And know that everything is for you and nothing is against you. And so it is.
There's no place that we can't find peace. There's no place where we can't find peace. There's no end to amazing grace. Take me in with your arms spread wide. Take me in like an orphan child. Never let go, never leave my side. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. There's no place where his love can reach. There's no place where we can't find peace. There's no end to amazing grace. Take me in with your arms spread wide. Take me in like an orphan child. Never let go, never leave my side. 'Cause I